Hello everybody, I'm Austin Awesome here again, and I'm here to talk to you guys about basically my history with the Star Wars Battlefront games and with Star Wars Battlefront in general. And I said I was going to make this video yesterday. Well, I'm making it now. So here we go. So I'm just going to get right into it. Back when I was a kid, like I'm talking like a very young kid, like God, I was like 6, 7. It was like before I started first grade. Maybe it was when I was in first grade, because it was in like 2005. It was 2004. I believe it was in the summer of 2005. Even before that, I had, just like a lot of kids out there, me and my brother both had a very big interest in Star Wars. And we would be staying up, all night, it's like, that's the time we were like, I was like 6 and he was like, I don't know, he was like 10 or something, 10 or maybe 11. I believe he was like 9 or 10. I was like 6 or 7. And so we had a big interest in Star Wars. We were always playing Star Wars, and we were always playing with Star Wars. I remember for my birthday one year, I got like a light up lightsaber. We also had these like non-light up lightsabers, which are very cheap, but they're really fun to play with. And one day, my brother introduced me to a game for the original Xbox called Star Wars Battlefront, and instantly I was hooked. From what I remember, I was hooked. We would play it all the time. Like I think that summer we would play it all the time. I have so many memories with the original Battlefront. And then a few months later, Battlefront 2 came out, which we also got for the original Xbox, and we basically played the shit out of that game. I have a ton of fond memories from Battlefront. It was the game essentially that got me into the action type game, like the type of game where you run around shooting people and doing all that kind of stuff. Not first-person shooters. We didn't really use the first-person mode out that much. We were mainly third-person players, because back in those games, back in Battlefront 1 and 2, you could go in both first and third person. You can in the new Battlefront game, which in this gameplay that you're watching, you will be seeing later. I think in a few minutes. But anyways, so we were really big into Star Wars at the time. Like I already said, we played the shit out of the Battlefront games. Recently, I got Battlefront 2 on PC just because I felt like it. Plus, it's cheap. But if you go on Steam right now, it's like $10, and like usually around May, because on May 4th, that's like a Star Wars day, and then it's even cheaper. You can get it for a few bucks on Steam. It's definitely worth it because it's a really good game, especially if you're like me and you played the crap out of the original Battlefront games. You played the crap out of Battlefront 1 and 2. You want to play it more. I still play it. Obviously, online isn't available. Hell, when we were a kid, when I was a kid, we mostly played single player with bots. I don't think we had internet function. We had internet, yes, but on the original Xbox, we didn't have internet. Obviously, you had to pay for Xbox Live then. You still have to pay for Xbox Live, but at the time we didn't have the money for Xbox Live, so we just played single player with bots, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Especially in Battlefront 2, being able to play as people like Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, the Emperor, those hero characters. It was a lot of fun. I believe the map I remember the most in the first Battlefront game was Hoth and one of the Cloud City maps. I think it was platform. Yeah, I think it was the Bespin platforms maps, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, it should be at. Uh, what was I gonna say? Crap, there was something that I was gonna say. I remember back then, my interest in Star Wars was very noticeable. I remember at my elementary school then, the most popular costume um, at my school, the most popular Halloween costume was Darth Vader. Darth Vader was an extremely popular costume. It still is an extremely popular costume, for Halloween and stuff like that. You see it all over the place. I remember when I was a little kid, Darth Vader, there was this Darth Vader mask that you can win like from a contest or buy from a store, where it had like all the buttons on it, where you press one of the buttons, it would play like a line from the movie, like it would go like, or it would play a line in the movie or something like that, or from the movies or stuff like that, and it was really cool. Also, I remember playing a lot with Star Wars action figures a lot when I was a kid. So yeah, I think I remember when Episode 3 came out. It was like we went to see it like a couple days after Episode 3 came out, in which we really liked it then, because we were little kids. But if we watched it now, I watched some of it recently, and it's just it's not amazing. Like episode 3 wasn't amazing. It was good, but it wasn't amazing. And don't get me started on the other 2 prequels. Those movies. Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, is one of the biggest pieces of dog shit that I've ever seen. And the same thing with Episode 2. Episode 2 is a big piece of shit, in my opinion, too. Though it was slightly better than Episode 1, but it still sucked. There was also this TV show called Star Wars: The Clone Wars. It wasn't what's on now. I mean, there's a show, I think, that's still on like Cartoon Network, something called The Attack of the Clones. It's not that show. It's a show that you kind of have to look a little back for. It takes place like completely. I think maybe in between Episode 2 and 3. I think it takes place in between Episodes 2 and 3. It was a pretty good show that we used to watch quite a bit. That I used to watch quite a bit. And I also remember, like I said earlier, I might have said this earlier a few minutes ago, but we used to play with these non-light up lightsabers. Well, me and my brother would always just fight with them all the time. And I remember one of my first Halloween costumes was a clone trooper. Not a stormtrooper, a clone trooper from the prequels, which stormtroopers are better, in my opinion. And that's really about it. I mean, I don't know. It seems more like my history of Star Wars than anything else. But about Battlefront really holds a special place in my heart, because I probably would not be here right now enjoying the games that I enjoy without Battlefront. Battlefront is pretty much the first ever first-person shooter that I played. The very first shooter that I ever played was Battlefront, and we're Battlefront 1 and 2, and then God knows what I was gonna say. And I really hope this new Battlefront game succeeds, because I am super excited for this game. Obviously, like I said in my video last night, I'm not going to be getting it on day 1, simply because, one, I don't have the money, because I spent all the money on Black Ops 3, but I'm going to be waiting about a month or 2, because I have a feeling that this game, like I said last night, I have a feeling that this game is going to come out buggy, and broken, because it's an EA game, and that's what EA does. Really, that's what EA does. They release broken pieces of shit, which is why I'm not going to be buying Battlefront on day one. So, this makes me wish Pandemic was still around. Now, if you don't know who Pandemic was, they were the studio that made the first two Battlefront games. They made Battlefront 1 and 2. They're no longer around anymore. In 2009, they were shut down. Ironically, they were shut down by EA, and look who's publishing the new Battlefront game. EA. So, and that's kind of ironic. Also, there's something I forgot to mention. After Battlefronts 1 and 2, me and my brother also played a lot of this Battlefront game called Battlefront Elite Squadron, I believe that's what it's called. And it was a PSP game. Which that was pretty fun, though it was nowhere near as fun as the original Battlefront games. I remember playing Tatooine a lot on that, but still, Battlefronts 1 and 2 are what hold a place in my heart. I remember playing a lot of the Tatooine maps, the Hoth map. There was a Hoth map in both Battlefront 1 and 2. I believe they were the same map, just remade, but anyways, I'm kind of rambling. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. So please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and tell me if you guys have played the first two Battlefront games. Tell me if you have a history with the Battlefront games like I do. And basically tell me what you think of the Battlefront beta so far, like I just said yesterday, and just please like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. See ya.